I'm Jake, 29. Just another IT guy from suburban Ohio, slogging through server crashes and coffee runs. Dating apps are my battlefield. Swipes, ghostings, and one nightmare date with a chick who brought her pet snake to dinner. I thought I'd seen the worst. Then I matched with Ruth on Tinder. No bio, just photos of a brunette with eyes like black ice, sharp enough to cut glass. 5 messages in, she invited me to her place. Alarm bells screamed, red flag 1, no bio, red flag 2. I've binge-watched enough true crime to know better, so I suggested a drink at the Crooked Lantern, a dive bar in Cleveland's West Side. If she turned out to be a scammer or, God forbid, some dude in a wig, I'd slip out the back door. The lantern was a dump, its neon sign buzzing like a dying fly. Inside, the air was thick with cigarette ghosts, and flickering bulbs cast claw-like shadows across sticky tables. A jukebox wailed a warped Johnny Cash tune, setting my nerves on edge. Then Ruth walked in. Heads turned, drinks paused mid-sip. She was a vision, thigh-high skirt, trench coat, hair gleaming like a raven's wing. Her photos lied. She was better in person, almost unnaturally perfect. I stood, aiming for a hug, but she deflected with a gloved hand, her grip cold and firm. Gloves? In June? Red flag 3 flashing like a warning light. Jake? Her voice was honey laced with arsenic, smooth but deadly. She smelled of lavender and bleach, a combo that twisted my gut. I nodded, my brain whispering, what's the deal here? Was she a con artist, a cult recruiter? I checked my pockets, wallet, phone, Pikachu keychain, all there. Still, my skin prickled. We grabbed a booth. I ordered a Guinness. She asked for tap water, pulling a metal straw from her purse like it was a ritual. I rambled about my job, patching code, rebooting routers. Her eyes glazed over and she let out a yawn, sharp and deliberate. Dull, huh? I said, forcing a grin. What's your gig? Between jobs, she said, tugging her gloves tighter. Was a surgeon. Now I steer clear of, messes. I smirked. Med school didn't clue you in on the gore? Her gaze turned cold like a shutter slamming shut. There was an accident. Let's move on. She leaned closer, her gloved fingers brushing the table. What's your deal in the bedroom? I choked, Guinness spraying the table. The bartender, a grizzled guy with a ginger beard, glared as Ruth yanked a wet wipe from her pocket, scrubbing the spill like it was a crime scene. She straightened the coasters and salt shaker, her hands moving with obsessive precision. My pulse hammered, not just from the awkwardness but from her intensity. She listed kinks like a menu, each one sparking heat in my chest, but that whisper in my head grew louder. She's too perfect. What's the catch? Ruth, I said, wiping foam from my lip. Level with me. Are you for real? Am I waking up in a ditch tomorrow? She laughed, a sound like ice cracking. There's a catch, Jake. Don't laugh, okay? I nodded, leaning in, my heart thudding. Her lips brushed my ear, her breath cold. I'm a clean freak. Obsessed. If you come over, you shower first, clothes washed, teeth brushed, earwax gone, I've got tools. Her gloved finger grazed my sleeve and she flinched like I was contagious. You in? Every instinct screamed run. But those eyes, that voice, they hooked me like a fish. I'm in, I said, draining my beer, ignoring the dread pooling in my gut. Her Volvo purred as we left the city, headlights slicing through the dark. She handed me a breath mint, probably smelling last night's meatloaf on my breath. We pulled up to a sleek, modern house on the edge of a pine forest, its white walls glowing under the moon like a tombstone. A tall fence circled the back, sharp and unwelcoming. The second we stepped inside, bleach stung my nose, harsh enough to make my eyes water. The place was a sterile shrine. Plastic-covered couches, spotless floors, everything aligned like a blueprint. Two taxidermy kittens posed mid-pounce stared from the staircase. "Aren't they darling?" Ruth said, her smile too wide. I forced a nod, feeling like I'd walked into a serial killer's Pinterest board. She made me kick off my sneakers, then led me to a bathroom that looked like an OR. "Strip," she said, her tone flat, clinical. I hesitated, but her stare pinned me like a bug. She bagged my clothes in a Ziploc, holding it like nuclear waste, then handed me soap and shampoo with barked instructions. A linen shirt and jeans waited on the towel rack, folded with surgical precision. An earwax tool, some high-tech nightmare, sat on the sink. I fumbled with it, my hands shaking, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. Scrubbed raw, I met her in the living room. The plastic couch squeaked, slick as an ice rink, and I nearly slid off. She handed me a shot of something citrusy, its aftertaste bitter like cough syrup. "To new friends," she said, her eyes glinting like knives. We clinked glasses and I drank. It burned going down and the room started to spin. My limbs turned to lead and the air felt like molasses. I tried to stand, but my knees buckled and I hit the floor, the plastic cold against my cheek. Ruth loomed over me, her smile gone, replaced by a predator's grin. "Don't fight it, Jake," she hissed. "You're clean now, perfect." I came to on a bed, my legs numb, pinned tight. My stomach churned, meatloaf and beer roiling like a storm. I forced my eyes down. Ruth was wrapping my legs in shrink wrap, her hands steady like she was sealing a museum piece. She straddled me, her gloved fingers digging into my wrists. "You're so handsome like this," she whispered, her lips grazing my ear, her breath icy. "I'm keeping you spotless. Forever." She reached for a syringe, its needle catching the light like a fang. Panic clawed my chest. "Move, damn it!" My body was sludge, but I thrashed, weak and desperate. "Stop! You're ruining it!" Ruth snapped, her grip tightening. I rocked hard, tumbling off the bed. The floor slammed into me and my stomach gave up. A geyser of vomit, meatloaf, onions, beer exploded, splattering the pristine room. Ruth screamed, slipping in the mess, her gloves slick with filth. She scrambled up, gagging, clawing at wet wipes, her face twisted in horror. I crawled, leaving a trail of puke, my heart pounding like a war drum. Ruth's shrieks echoed, "Come back!" But she was too busy scrubbing to chase. I rounded a corner, shoving a door open with my shoulder. My left arm was free, but the right was trapped in wrap. The kitchen gleamed ahead, all chrome and white. I dragged myself to an island, yanked a drawer, and sent utensils crashing. Spoons, forks, no knife. I grabbed a fork and stabbed the wrap, tearing until my right arm broke loose. Footsteps thundered. Ruth burst in, syringe raised, her eyes wild. "You disgusting pig!" she roared, diving at me. I caught her wrist, the needle grazing my throat. My other hand, slimy with vomit, smeared the rancid mess across her face. She convulsed, dropping the syringe, her germophobia short-circuiting her rage. I rolled on top, grabbed the drawer, and smashed it against her temple. Once, twice, she went limp, her eyes rolling back. I crawled to the hall, spotting a phone on a console. My fingers shook as I dialed 911. "Help!" I gasped, voice raw. The operator promised a unit. I slumped against the wall, fighting to stay awake, terrified Ruth would wake. My memory fractures here, sirens, flashlight beams, paramedics barking questions. At the ER, Ruth, bandaged but conscious, played the victim, claiming I'd attacked her. Her charm nearly sold it, and I saw cuffs in my future. Then the cops searched her property. In the woods, crows circled a shallow grave, a body shrink-wrapped, rotting with tubes for a catheter and IV. It was a local guy, missing 6 months, his face on flyers at every gas station. Ruth had kept him clean, alive until he wasn't. Her trial's dragging on. She denies it all, but the evidence is a noose. Justice moves like molasses, and it could be a year before a verdict. I'm in therapy, wrestling nightmares, plastic crinkling, Ruth's whisper. Forever. My Pikachu keychain's in a drawer. I can't touch it, and I'm trying to date again, but I'm paranoid. No more blind swipes. Last night I checked Tinder. A new match popped up. No bio, just photos. In one she wore gloves. My heart stopped. I deleted the app, locked my doors, and lay awake, listening for the rustle of plastic in the dark.